Have you ever found yourself wondering why so many good folks, people who've worked hard their whole lives, don't seem to make it much past 80? It's a quiet thought many of us have, especially when we all dream of seeing our grandchildren grow up, and maybe even meeting their children one day. The surprising truth, which I've discovered time and time again in my medical practice, is that it often has less to do with bad luck or bad genes and far more to do with a few simple daily habits. In fact, there are 5 common mistakes that are so quiet, so seemingly harmless, that millions of seniors are making them right this very moment, unknowingly shortening their own precious time. As a doctor who has sat with hundreds of families over the years, I can tell you this with certainty. The biggest dangers to our health in our later years aren't always the dramatic ones we see on the news. No, the most dangerous ones are often the ones hiding in plain sight. I'm not talking about theory. I'm talking about reality. Let me tell you about a patient of mine, a wonderful woman named Eleanor. She was a retired school principal, sharp as a tack, who was convinced she was doing everything right for her health. But one afternoon, a small, simple fall in her kitchen started a chain reaction. A chain reaction that exposed a dangerous truth and almost cost her everything. Her story is a powerful lesson for all of us, and that's why we're here today. We are going to walk through each of these 5 mistakes, not to scare you, but to empower you. We'll shine a bright light on them, and more importantly, I will show you the simple, practical, and often free ways to fix them, just like Eleanor did. And please, I urge you to stay with me until the very end. The 3rd mistake is something I see in almost every single patient over the age of 65, and the 5th one, well, it's a belief about aging so dangerous it can literally rewire your brain for decline. The information we'll discuss could truly change the course of your later years. Before we go any further, I truly want to know if this resonates with you. If you've ever worried about these quiet changes that come with age, either for yourself or for someone you love, please just type a simple yes in the comments below. It lets me know we're on the right track, and more importantly, it shows others in our community that they are not alone in this. Okay, let's begin. Alright, let's begin with the first hidden danger that I see far too often. Mistake number 1, the medication multiplication trap. I want you to picture Eleanor's bathroom cabinet. When I first spoke with her, she described it to me, and it's an image I've seen in countless homes. It didn't look like a cabinet. It looked more like a small pharmacy. There was a bottle for her blood pressure prescribed by her heart doctor, another for her cholesterol from her primary care physician, a pill to help her sleep from a specialist she saw years ago, and of course, bottles for aches and pains, for indigestion, a pill for this, and a pill for that. She never questioned it, because each one was prescribed by a doctor, a trusted professional. But this is where the danger begins. You see, a simple truth that isn't talked about enough is this. When you begin taking 5 or more medications at the same time, a number many seniors easily reach, they can start a kind of chemical argument inside your body. Think of it like a chaotic meeting where everyone is talking over each other. One drug can accidentally cancel out the benefits of another, or worse, it can make another one dangerously strong. This isn't just a theory. It's a well-documented phenomenon that dramatically increases the risk of serious complications. Now, here's why this becomes especially treacherous as we get older. Throughout our lives, we tend to collect specialists. We have a doctor for our heart, another for our bones, maybe one for our digestion. The problem is, these specialists rarely talk to each other. They each focus on their one area of expertise, and they prescribe accordingly, without always seeing the full picture of what's happening in your body. Furthermore, as we age, our bodies, particularly our liver and kidneys, process medications more slowly. A dose that was perfectly fine for you at 50 can become too much for your system at 70. This is precisely why so many older adults walk around feeling constantly exhausted. They complain about dizziness, brain fog, and even notice strange, unexplained bruises on their skin. So often they chalk it up to just getting old. But I am telling you, very often it is not old age at all. It is a silent side effect war happening inside their medicine cabinet. This was exactly the case with Eleanor. The turning point for her was when she started feeling a bone-deep fatigue she could unshake and noticed dark bruises appearing on her arms. It was her pharmacist, a sharp young woman, who finally connected the dots. Eleanor was taking 2 different blood thinners prescribed by 2 different doctors who hadn't coordinated. On top of that, She was taking an over-the-counter painkiller for her arthritis, which also thins the blood. She was, in her pharmacist's words, one bad bump away from a serious internal bleed. It was a vicious cycle. A pill to help her sleep made her groggy, so another doctor gave her something for energy, which then upset her stomach, leading to antacids. It was a cascade of treating side effects with more pills. The solution that saved her was something she called her medication audit. It was simple but profound. She gathered every single bottle, prescriptions, vitamins, supplements, everything, and put them all in one bag. She made an appointment with her primary doctor, with the sole purpose of reviewing them all. It was a gapmaker. Together, they identified the overlaps and the unnecessary pills. So, here is my call to action for you this year. Please do the same. Schedule a medication review with your doctor or pharmacist. And from now on, whenever a new pill is suggested, I want you to ask one powerful question. Doctor, is this replacing something on my list, or just adding to it? Within 6 months of her audit, Eleanor went from 12 daily medications down to just 5 essential ones. The change, she said, was like a fog lifting. Her energy came roaring back. The mysterious aches disappeared. She felt like herself again. It's a powerful reminder that more medicine is not always better medicine. Now, let's move on to the second mistake, which isn't hiding in the medicine cabinet, but in a place we think of as safe, our own kitchen. Mistake number 2, the invisible poison in your pantry. At first glance, Eleanor's pantry looked like a model of healthy living. She proudly told me about her choices. There were boxes of whole grain cereals, packages of low-fat cookies for her afternoon tea, sugar-free sodas for a guilt-free treat, and rows of canned soups for a quick, easy lunch. She was doing everything she'd seen in the commercials. Everything the bright, cheerful labels told her was good for her. But behind those labels was a hidden danger. A danger that nutrition experts I work with call age accelerators. These are foods that, while seeming innocent, quietly fuel a process called inflammation inside your body. Now, inflammation isn't always bad. But chronic low-grade inflammation is the root cause of so many age-related ailments, from aching joints and stiff muscles to heart disease and even memory decline. The biggest offenders are hidden sugars and chemicals. That wholesome-looking granola bar, Eleanor loved it, had more sugar than a frosted donut. Her sugar-free drinks were loaded with artificial sweeteners like aspartame, which major studies, including those in the Journal of the American Heart Association, have now linked to a higher risk of stroke and heart disease in older women. Even her healthy wheat bread was sweetened with high fructose corn syrup, a major driver of inflammation. And it's not just sugar. To make low-fat products taste good, manufacturers pump them full of extra sodium and chemical additives. A single serving of Eleanor's favorite canned soup had more than half of her recommended daily sodium intake, putting a tremendous strain on her blood pressure. But here is a crucial point that is especially important for seniors. It's not just about what we eat, but also what we don't drink. As we get older, our natural thirst mechanism begins to fade. We simply don't feel thirsty as often. Eleanor was a perfect example. She'd have a cup of coffee in the morning and maybe a glass of iced tea in the afternoon, assuming she was fine. In reality, she was in a constant state of mild dehydration. This is incredibly common and it's dangerous. It strains your kidneys, drains your energy, and is a leading cause of dizziness and confusion, which often leads to falls. So, that mid-afternoon slump you feel, that stiffness in your knees when you wake up, it might not be your age. It might be your lunch from the day before. Eleanor's wake-up call came when her daughter, who had studied nutrition, came to visit. They went through the pantry together, reading labels line by line. Eleanor was shocked and frankly a little angry. She felt she had been misled for years. The solution she created was brilliantly simple, something she called the 5x5 rule. First, she committed to only buying packaged foods with 5 ingredients or fewer. This simple filter automatically eliminates most highly processed junk. Second, she made it a mission to drink 5 full glasses of water by 5 p.m. each day. Setting a time deadline prevented her from staying up all night. And third, she aimed to eat 5 different colors of fruits and vegetables daily. A simple way to ensure she was getting a wide range of anti-inflammatory nutrients. This week, I challenge you to do just one thing. Pick up your favorite healthy packaged snack and read the ingredient label. Don't look at the front. Look at the tiny print on the back. You might be shocked by what you find. Within 4 months of changing her pantry, Eleanor's doctor told her she was no longer pre-diabetic. Her skin looked brighter, her chronic joint pain eased up, and she had more energy than she'd had in a decade. She learned that the most effective pharmacy is often your own kitchen. If this insight about our food has been valuable to you, please let me know by commenting the word healthy below. It truly encourages us to keep making this content. And if you haven't yet, please consider subscribing so you don't miss what's coming next. Alright, now for our third mistake. This one doesn't start in the body, it starts in the mind, and it is perhaps the most tragic of them all. Mistake number 3, the mobility mindset death spiral. It all started with a small, seemingly insignificant slip. As I mentioned, Eleanor fell in her kitchen. She didn't break anything, just a bruised elbow and a badly shaken confidence. She did what any of us would think is sensible. She told herself, I just need to be more careful. And so her world began to shrink. She started avoiding the stairs in her own home, taking the long way round. She stopped walking on the uneven sidewalk in her neighborhood, sticking only to the smoothest paths. She turned down invitations from friends if they involved walking on grass. On the surface, this looked like a smart protective strategy, but in reality, she had just taken the first step into a dangerous trap. Here is the painful irony that I have seen play out over and over again in my practice. The fear of falling makes you move less, but moving less is the very thing that makes your muscles weaker. As your leg and core muscles weaken, your balance begins to decline. As your balance declines, your bones lose density from the lack of impact, and with weaker muscles, poorer balance, and more fragile bones, you become far more likely to fall again. It is a tragic self-fulfilling prophecy, a death spiral of declining mobility, born from a desire to stay safe. Now, why is this especially critical after 60i? It's because of a natural process called sarcopenia, which is just a medical term for age-related muscle loss. After age 50, we can lose up to 1% of our muscle mass every single year if we are not actively working to maintain it. So when you combine that natural decline with a conscious decision to move less out of fear, the process accelerates dramatically. That feeling of struggling to get up from a low chair without pushing off with your arms, or feeling winded after a single flight of stairs, that isn't just aging. That is a clear signal from your body that your muscles are being neglected and your independence is at risk. For Eleanor, this spiral happened fast. Within about 18 months of her fall, lifting her 6-year-old grandson became an impossible task. She told me the moment she had to say, "No, honey, Grandma can't pick you up," was one of the most heartbreaking of her life. The blunt truth came from her physical therapist, who looked at her chart and said, "Eleanor, your test results show you have the muscle mass and balance of someone who is 85. You only 72. Your instinct to protect yourself is quietly stealing your future." That was the wake-up call. She had to unlearn her fear and replace it with strength. Her solution was a program she called the Power of 3. It was designed to be so simple that she couldn't make excuses. First, 3 simple balance exercises while she brushed her teeth in the morning, like standing on one foot. Second, 3 simple strength moves during TV commercials, like standing up and sitting down from her chair 10 times without using her hands. And third, 3 gentle stretches before bed to maintain flexibility. Your muscles do not know how old you are. They only know one of 2 things: use or disuse. It is a choice we make every single day. Choose, use. At first, Eleanor could barely balance for 5 seconds, but she was consistent. Within a few months, she was holding for 30 seconds with ease. She joined a senior Tai Chi class in her community, where the laughter and support made it feel less like a chore and more like a social hour. 6 months after starting her simple program, she was on a hiking trail with her grandchildren, fearless and strong. Medical tests confirmed it. Her bone density had actually improved. She reversed the spiral. It proves that it is never too late to get stronger. The question is never if you can. It's only if you are willing to start. Now for our 4th mistake. This one strikes silently, and it doesn't attack your body first. It begins by draining your spirit. Mistake number 4. The social isolation time bomb. When Eleanor first retired from her long career as a school principal, she told me she looked forward to the peace and quiet. No more ringing phones, no more staff meetings, no more deadlines. For the first few months, it was a blessing. But then, something began to shift. The silence in her home started to feel less peaceful and more heavy. Days would drift by with the only real conversation being a few words with the cashier at the grocery store. Her weekly bridge club had slowly dissolved as friends moved away or fell ill. Her children, busy with their own careers and families, called less frequently. One morning she had a startling realization. She was talking more to her little dog than she was to other human beings. I need you to hear this loud and clear, because it is one of the most important public health findings of our time. Chronic loneliness and social isolation are not just sad feelings, they are lethal. Major research, including a landmark study published in the journal Perspectives on Psychological Science, has shown that social isolation increases the risk of premature death by nearly 50%. Let me put that in perspective for you. The health consequences are as damaging as smoking 15 cigarettes every single day. It is a silent killer. Now, why does this happen? Especially as we age. For one, our social structures often fall away. We leave the daily interaction of a workplace. Our children become independent. Our physical mobility might decrease, making it harder to get out. If we are not incredibly intentional about it, isolation can creep in and take hold before we even realize what's happening, and the biological impact is devastating. Loneliness weakens our immune system, making us more susceptible to illness. It increases inflammation, and most terrifyingly, it dramatically accelerates memory loss and doubles the risk of developing dementia. The warning signs for Eleanor were subtle at first. She started forgetting if she had taken her morning medication. She would lose a word mid-sentence. Her blood pressure, once well controlled, began to creep up. But the most troubling sign was something she confessed to her daughter one morning over the phone. She said, "Honey, I feel like I'm disappearing." Disappearing. Those words hit harder than any lab result could. It was the feeling of becoming invisible, irrelevant. That is the true pain of isolation. It's a feeling that your brain, starved of meaningful human connection, is beginning to shut down. But here is what saved her. She discovered that connection is one of the most powerful medicines on the planet. Her revival started small, so small it's almost beautiful. She made a point to not just wave to her neighbors, but to walk over and ask them how their day was going. Those waves turned into porch conversations. She started volunteering for just 2 hours a week at the local hospital gift shop, not for the work, but for the casual chatter. The real breakthrough was her Tuesday club. It started with her inviting just 2 other widows from her apartment building over 4 cards. Soon, word got around. Within a few months, 20 neighbors were gathering weekly for potlucks, games, and genuine support. Here is your simple, powerful action step for this week. Pick up the phone and call one person you haven't spoken to in a while. Not a text, a call, just to say hello and see how they are. That's it. That's the first step to rebuilding a connection. Eleanor learned that the cure for loneliness isn't about having 100 friends. It's about having just a few quality, regular interactions. By age 75, her calendar was full again, but in a healthy way. Her daughter said it best. Mom didn't just get her health back, she got her sparkle back. If you believe in the healing power of connection, please let us know by commenting the number 4 below. It means so much to us to see that. Thank you. And now we come to the final and perhaps most insidious mistake of all. Mistake number 5, the memory myth massacre. For years, Eleanor believed what so many of us have been told our entire lives, that serious memory decline is just a normal, unavoidable part of getting older. Misplacing your car keys, forgetting the name of that actor from the movie last night, walking into a room and completely forgetting why you went in there. We've all been there. We laugh it off and call it a senior moment. But this belief, this acceptance that our minds are doomed to fail, almost destroyed Eleanor's. It started with small things, but then it grew more serious. One day, she was talking to her daughter and blanked on her own granddaughter's name just for a second, but it terrified her. Another time, she got lost while driving to her daughter's house, a route she had driven thousands of times for more than a decade. She pulled into a parking lot, utterly confused and in tears, realizing something was terribly, terribly wrong. She thought, this is it. It's starting. Here is the shocking truth that I wish I could share with every single person over 60. The act of accepting memory loss as normal is the very thing that accelerates it. When you believe your brain is destined to decline, you stop challenging it. You stop learning new things. You make excuses for your memory lapses instead of working to strengthen your mind. And just like an unused muscle, your brain's abilities begin to atrophy. Groundbreaking research on cognitive aging has shown that seniors who hold negative beliefs about memory loss experience cognitive decline at nearly double the rate of those who believe they can maintain and even improve their mental sharpness. Your brain is not a computer with a full hard drive that just runs out of space. A better analogy is that your brain is like a muscle, and science has proven that you can build new muscle at any age. The same is true for your brain. This incredible capacity is called neuroplasticity. It means your brain can physically grow and rewire itself, forming new connections and new brain cells, even into your 80s and 90s. The neurologist who saw Eleanor later told her, "Your brain wasn't losing ground because of your age. It was losing ground because of neglect." That diagnosis was the spark Eleanor needed. She began what she called her brain renaissance. Each morning, she spent 15 minutes doing puzzles and brain training games on her tablet. In the afternoons, she committed to learning something entirely new. She started with Spanish lessons online, then decided to learn to play the piano, something she had always dreamed of. And she discovered that one of the most powerful tools for brain health was her daily walk. Physical exercise, particularly walking, has been shown to increase a natural protein in the brain called BDNF, which acts like fertilizer for the growth of new brain cells. The moment you believe your brain is finished learning is the moment it begins to die. I urge you, reject that myth today. Challenge your mind, do a crossword puzzle, read a non-fiction book instead of watching TV, try to learn a new skill on YouTube, sign up for a class at your local community college. By her 73rd birthday, Eleanor could order a meal in Spanish and play simple songs on the piano. Her neurologist was stunned. Her brain scans, he told her, actually showed growth in the hippocampus, the brain's memory center. "Your brain looks 10 years younger," he said. Eleanor's story is the ultimate proof that your brain's best days do not have to be behind you. The real danger isn't aging itself. It's believing the myth that aging means inevitable decline. So, where does all of this leave us? Let's go back for a moment to Eleanor. Just a few years ago, she was on the same path that sadly so many of our seniors find themselves on. She was over-medicated, feeling physically weak, becoming more and more socially isolated, and was quietly convinced that memory loss was an unavoidable fate. Her doctor had even quietly warned her that if nothing changed, she might not live to see her 80th birthday. She was on track to become just another statistic. But Eleanor, she chose a different path. She decided to fight back. She took control of her medications. She cleared the poisons from her pantry. She patiently rebuilt her strength through simple daily movements. She bravely reconnected with her community, and she revived her brilliant brain with daily challenges. Today, at 75, Eleanor is stronger, sharper, and more full of life than she was at 70. Her latest blood work, she proudly told me, shows the health of someone 20 years younger. But more importantly than any number on a chart, she wakes up every single day with joy, with purpose, and with confidence. She didn't just avoid decline, she reversed it. Her story is living proof of a simple yet incredibly powerful truth. Aging does not have to mean decline. The real enemy isn't the number of candles on your birthday cake. It's the silent, everyday mistakes we accept as normal. Her story proves that you have so much more power over your health and happiness than you've been led to believe. Your choices, even the small ones made daily, can determine whether you quietly fade away or live fully, vibrantly, and independently into your 90s and beyond. As we wrap up, we've explored 5 critical areas that can truly transform our golden years. But knowledge is only powerful when we put it into action. So now I have one important question for you. What is the one commitment you are making to yourself after watching this video? It doesn't have to be monumental. It could be as simple as I will drink a glass of water before my coffee tomorrow, or I will call that friend I've been thinking about this week, or I will read the ingredients on my favorite snack box. Please share your personal commitment in the comments below. Writing it down is the first step to making it real, and it lets us all inspire each other to take that first step. And if you found real value and encouragement in our time together today, show your support by giving this video a like. It is so appreciated. To ensure you continue on this journey with us and never miss another video full of life-changing wisdom, hit that subscribe button. It's more than just subscribing. It's joining a community of people dedicated to living our best lives together. Finally, think of one person, just one person who needs to hear this message today, and please share it with them. You might just change their life. Thank you for watching. Stay healthy, stay wise, and I'll see you in the next video.